Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. The Jordan Armed Forces Arab Army continued its delivery of humanitarian aid to displaced Syrians at Rukban camp. According to an army source, the aid, which is crane delivered to the camp, is collected for distribution by community leaders of displaced Syrians near the border. The initiative comes upon request by the UN following deteriorating conditions of displaced Syrians in the area after it was declared a closed military zone. And in Syria, government forces advanced in the southern countryside of Aleppo, taking control of 5 villages. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that in the last 72 hours, government forces had taken control of around 40 villages as they advanced towards Abu Dhuhr military airport. They added that the forces advancing in southern Aleppo were now around 6 kilometers away from their forces in eastern Idlib. Syrian government forces have taken scores of villages in recent weeks near the provincial border between Idlib and Hama. Palestinian protesters clashed with Israeli soldiers in the village of Nabi Saleh in the occupied West Bank at a demonstration calling for the release of 16-year-old Ahd Tamimi. Israel has held Tamimi since her arrest in December and indicted her this month after she was filmed punching a soldier at the entrance to her family home in Nabi Saleh. Demonstrators threw stones at Israeli soldiers who responded by firing tear gas grenades to disperse the crowds. Iran, Russia and China have reacted to U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement yesterday that he would waive nuclear sanctions on Iran for the last time. Russia called Trump's comments extremely negative, while China pledged to continue playing a constructive role in maintaining and implementing the Iran nuclear deal. Here's more.
Iran said Saturday it would retaliate against new U.S. sanctions imposed by Donald Trump on the head of Iran's judiciary and others. The U.S. president also reluctantly signed the waiver on nuclear sanctions for what he said was the last time on Friday, giving Washington and its European allies a last chance to fix what he called disastrous flaws in the pact reached under Barack Obama. The new sanctions target 14 Iranian entities and people, including Ayatollah Sadiq Larijani, a close ally of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. They crossed all red lines, Iran's foreign ministry said, and violate international law. But it didn't clarify how Tehran might hit back. Trump chafed at having to sign the deal again and wants it strengthened with a separate agreement within 120 days to keep Washington in. His conditions include immediate inspections at all sites requested by international experts and making any Iranian missile testing subject to severe sanctions. Iran says its nuclear program is peaceful. Trump's ultimatum puts pressure on European backers of the nuclear deal to satisfy Trump if they want it to hold. One diplomat telling Reuters it would be complicated to save it after this.
U.S. President Donald Trump's reported outburst against immigrants from certain nations has not gone down well in Africa, as reaction to his comment has triggered outrage across the world. Trump has been under fire at home and abroad after some reports said he referred to Haiti and African nations in a disparaging manner during a meeting on an immigration deal with a group of bipartisan lawmakers at the White House. The lawmakers were describing how certain immigration programs operate, including one to give safe haven in the U.S. to people from countries suffering from natural disasters or civil strife.
Well, I think it is not unnatural of American President Donald Trump. We are used to what I will call infantile tantrums from the leader of the #1 nation in the world.
Because he came across, so much wealth, he thought that the world is under his feet and he can do anything, say anything and get away with it.
This proves that even as a president, he is the most narrow-minded person in the world.
To sports, La Liga leader Barcelona signed centre-back Yerry Mina from Palmeiras on a 5-year contract for a fee of $14.38 million. The Colombian international has made 33 appearances for Palmeiras over the last 2 seasons, helping them win the league title in 2016. He also won the Copa Sudamericana with former club Santa Fe. Mina is expected to reinforce Barca's defense, with reports that Javier Mascherano is close to leaving Barca to join Chinese side Hebei China Fortune. And in the same league, Real today lost 1-0 to Villarreal. And finally, for a quick look at the weather, a drop in temperature is expected as a cold air mass is to affect the kingdom. Scattered rain is also in the forecast in the northern and central regions, while winds will be westerly moderate to brisk, raising dust in the desert. Amman tomorrow can expect a high of 11 degrees Celsius, dropping down to 5 at night, while further south in the Gulf of Aqaba, moderate conditions prevail with a high of 22 degrees and a low of 10. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of the news. I'm Alia Tuqan. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.